Welcome Unreal developers. In this video we are going to talk about how to move in the viewport. Stay tuned. I selected the third person template, but the navigation is always the same in all templates. You just need to move your mouse cursor inside the viewport, press and hold down the right mouse button, and when you move the mouse you will rotate the camera. If you want to move the camera, still hold down the right mouse button and use your W, A, S and D key as you are used from computer games. If you want to increase the camera height, press E, and if you want to decrease it, press Q. If the camera speed is too fast or too slow for you, just rotate the mouse wheel to adapt the camera speed. So now we know how to navigate inside our 3D space. Let's talk about an actor. Select an actor with the left mouse button. You will see this pivot. We got 3 different pivots. One for moving an object, one for rotating an object, and one for scaling it. This pivot is the pivot to move an object, and as you can see, these axes are the same like our coordination system. We got the green arrow, and if we select it with the left mouse button, we will be able to move the item along the y-axis. You also can move it along 2 axes at the same time when you are using the square, and if you are using the sphere, you can move it along all 3 axes. If you want to drop it to the floor, just press the End key on your keyboard. To switch to our other pivot, press the space bar. This will be the pivot to rotate the item. And if you look at our coordination system, you will see when you move the red part, you will rotate it along the x-axis, which is this direction. The same is with green for the y-axis and blue for the z-axis. To get to our last pivot, press the space bar again, and you will see the pivot to scale an item. It has similar features like our moving pivot. You can select 1 axis, 2 axes or all 3 axes, but this is very different from the other 2 pivots. Look at the orientation of the pivot. This pivot is orientated as our world space, but it is orientated inside our object space. What that means I want to show you. Just press 2 times again the space bar, and now we can rotate our item. We will rotate it by 90 degrees, and when we now switch to our scaling pivot, you will see that it does not match anymore with our coordination system. This is because the scaling pivot is part of the object space, and it does not matter how it is aligned. If you are moving the z-axis, it will be taller even if it is rotated by 90 degrees. Does not make a big difference with a cube, but if you are scaling an actor, it will make a big difference. So if you want to duplicate an item, there is a very easy way to do so. Just select the item, go to your moving pivot, hold down the Alt key and move the item around, and you will see it will be duplicated. If you want to select multiple objects, hold down the Shift key and click all the items you want to select. You can also use the Control key to select multiple items. With the Control key you can also deselect an item. You can't deselect an item with the Shift key. So this is everything I want to mention about the navigation. If you are curious what happened here, this is the shadow. It is a static object, as you can see here. So the shadow is baked inside the game engine before you created the game. It is a little bit different with a movable object like an actor. As you can see here, the shadow will be updated all the time. But this will increase the rendering time inside the game. So choose wisely if you have a static or a movable object. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe. Like the video.